For 2 days, the 5 o'clock hour is hot on Fit FM 96.7, www.fitfmja.com. Your life, your music with Lady D, Denise Gomez, Inside the Zone. Catch me on Monday at 5 p.m. for the Monday Drive, keeping you in the know in the city you walk, drive, and reside. And on Friday, yes, at 5 p.m. for Center Stage, the platform where voices are heard and people connect. From abroad to yard, Trelawney. Hi, I'm Lady D, Denise Gomez, and I have exciting interview segments and features inside. Hi, I'm Lady D, Denise Gomez, and I have exciting interview segments and features inside the zone. For recording artists, you can sing? Well, Inside the Zone, second Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. is for you. Writers, share your story, no man, in From the Author's Zone on third Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Male Zone has unbelievably juicy stories of love, heartbreak, and triumph. 7 p.m. has never been this good. On Mondays, it's news, talk, engaging features at 7 in the Monday Drive. And Center Stage has everyone talking on Thursdays. Be a part of the show. Email me insidethezonelyc@gmail.com or call me 914-304-2592. On Satideh Mawnin Runnings this week, Miss Spirit Nuh Tek Yuh. Life in the Caribbean has teachable moments only a few of us wish to remember. Or intuitiveness is most common, a remarkable trait that can be unnerving when it rears its head. You ever hear someone from the Caribbean say to the other, Miss Spirit Nuh Tek Yuh? Especially Jamaicans, believe it or not, there is something about that person that they don't trust, and before long is bound to be revealed. When it does, we are amazed at the outcome. Not only that, but we also look at the revelator as one with a gift to read up people. Have you ever said, Miss Spirit Nuh Tek Yuh to someone? As Satideh Mawnin Runnings, come make we talk. Well. Good morning. Morning. Morning without a G. Morning without a G. Morning without a G. And we could perhaps say buenos dias.
Hello, why not?
How na do? Somewhere
We do.
in the world. It is a glorious Saturday morning here. It's 8 minutes after 10 o'clock. My name is Lady D, Denise Gomez, host and producer of Inside the Zone. And I started Satideh Mawnin Runnings a few years ago. And then guess what? Some people joined me. And since then, every morning they have been here, except for those who tend to go back home often, a lot of times throughout the year. But you know,
happy.
but we
I
would
was
like
on a
to,
mango tree.
and even leave glasses. Can't forget the
Me
glass.
not say nothing. The stone are true, but me a sight them.
And
Sight them.
even leave them
Yeah, dog.
glasses.
And then one of this pig was squealing that they want to lick.
Not true. But anyway, me there, me
Same stuff.
always make sure me find on the door.
Same
Indeed.
stuff.
Anyway, me there,
It's
me have to
jealous.
find on it.
It's jealousy. Jealous.
Right? Jala.
Right?
Oh
Lord,
no.
Oh my
forgive me.
God.
Forgive me for my wrongdoings. But we would
Oh
like
my
to say
goodness.
welcome to everyone tuning in this morning. First in our chat
Uh,
is Vero. Good morning, Vero. I hope you're doing well. And no pain and aches, because when the younger we get, the more challenges we have.
Mm-hmm.
But
And when the
me
weather
like, me
gets
like the
yeah.
bad,
Yeah.
it
younger,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
it,
me
it
like, me like the younger part.
Hmm. And And
Mm.
the, the,
All of us know.
yes, and the
Well, we're
young.
not getting older, we're getting better.
Hi.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
how
brothers.
how are you doing, ladies?
I am doing well. I'm sleepy though. I guess
Hi.
it's the weather.
Oh,
It's a little bit overcast here too,
and
but
I had
steamy
to.
outside. Outside is
Oh,
steamy.
we did say that. I
Wow.
said you're going to hear Jackie. She talking about fair weather.
We are warm weather. I know, right?
Sure, but you know,
Lord, jealousy.
I know, right?
so Max, what you saying
You,
here now?
you can't email, you can't email when look like the warm weather, you know.
Mm, because
Is Georgia that cold? Is it
it's
chilly there
No,
now?
definitely.
it's like in the 60s.
Oh,
Yeah. And
oh,
dreary outside,
yesterday
dark
we
and it's
sported in a cool
overcasted.
94.
No way, yes.
94 yesterday.
It
No,
was
sir.
really steamy down here in Florida.
Ona can't keep that.
It was balmy. Hmm.
Mm-mm.
That was
But I'm still
Oh
trying
my
to keep
94.
up.
gosh.
I see people in a shorts yesterday on the street and it was rainy and people were wearing shorts.
Well,
mm,
the new thing now is shorts and boots. Shorts
So
is
I that me
shorts.
realize.
Yeah, shorts is now a all year round garment.
mhm.
Yes.
Not to
Right.
When I
mention them
lived in
have it
New York,
made.
when I lived in New York, I wore shorts in my house all winter because it was so warm in there. But
No man, me I
here so
talk
it's
about
not the
outer
same.
street, Max.
Out
I
of
know.
street.
I know some people
Shorts
wearing
with
out the street.
sweater. Are you seeing shorts with
Sweater,
sweater and like hoodie
coat.
and shorts and stuff like yeah?
Good
Mhm.
for them. They're young and green.
Not all of them are.
Oh dear.
Exactly.
Oh Lord, you see them
Then I
something
put on
else.
no shorts and no hoodie and no winter. No, so shorts
No,
is for summer
you
for
have to
me.
accessorize it appropriately. You just wear
Yes.
the knee boots.
Yes,
You wear the knee boots or the boots
knee
that come up to
boots.
your thigh. So
Mhm.
there's
Yes, I have
But
only
picture,
those. I was
picture,
gonna
picture,
say.
picture 411 me in a knee boot. Just picture me.
you can make it work. If you
That's why my
believe it, you
spirit
can
not take
achieve it.
you.
I'm
That's why my
rooting
No,
for you,
well,
spirit not
Max.
take
I'm
you.
too short for boots, darling. I would have stressed to put you on and stress to take care of. I would have need help.
Oh. All right. Leave it alone then.
Right.
Exactly.
Hello,
Oh,
hello,
stop.
hello. I tell you.
Leave
Oh
it
my
Okay.
alone.
goodness.
So, Madam Sharon, you have returned from yard. What good news do you have for us?
Um,
It
yeah,
was
it was nice as
Mhm.
usual. It was a lot of rain though. It rained every afternoon consistently.
Wow.
oh
Heavy
wow.
showers. Yeah, you could have literally stand there and say and count down. The rain, the showers came down very heavily in different parts
Uh-huh.
Okay.
in different parts, but it came down heavily. You can bet on it, and then it would just dry up after a while, like it never happened. But it was
Mhm.
very heavy while it lasted.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
that's
Yes.
like when I went out there in
Mm-hmm.
it was
So you
2020,
never went outside like little.
the early 2020, and
Yeah, man. Me
every
get
morning,
little rain wet up. Yes,
every
deliberately.
morning it rained like that, yeah. And
Yeah.
then it
Yeah.
just dry up and nice. And the place
Yeah,
just
one go pick up
nice.
June plum and think June plum I drop off a tree now.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
we
well.
have a June plum from my mother house, and
Yeah.
mom is going back next week.
Okay.
And my cousin says that the June plum them dropping off the tree. Me say wanna try freeze some for me.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
I'll
June
Right.
make
plums
jam
are
with it.
happening.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Yes,
could cook them with sugar
Mm-hmm.
Me do some
outside
yes,
slight
in
damage from
bottles.
some of them. I did a little bit of damage.
Slight.
a little bit.
Slight, Sharon says slight. Right.
Slight.
Slight.
Slight damage.
Yes.
I needed more time. I didn't have enough time, but I did what I could.
Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh.
Yeah, I
Oh my
haven't caught June
goodness.
plum
Good to
season in a
you.
while, man. And it's the nice, fresh off the tree June plum. It's not the ones
Yes.
them we travel mile and distant if we come here. But thank God that we can get it here. But still, when it's nice and fresh,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
me teeth them
It's
still on
always
edge. Me
best.
I talk and me can't feel them on me teeth.
Oh dear.
Oh my
I
goodness.
couldn't bite into those, yeah, because I have sensitivity.
Yeah, they set your teeth on edge sometimes. You eat too many. But
Yes.
yeah,
Oh,
but that's yeah, but June plum out the wagga wagga.
sure. A long time.
Mm-mm.
Me know, me know
Wagga
where
That
the
Jamaican
wagga.
expression, wagga wagga.
Yes.
A stone
Wagga
dog.
wagga. Yeah, but the
All right.
weather is nice, man, and the blue skies, and it was just wonderful, wonderful,
right.
Yeah.
So
Wagga
wonderful.
wagga.
let's start the show. It's 15 minutes after 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So
Welcome to
who winna
Saturday
like now?
Morning Runnings. Welcome to Saturday Morning Runnings, everyone. Let's start our conversation. But before that, as always, we hop on over to our chat and we acknowledge those who have already come in the room. Take seat,
One
ready to enjoy
seat.
and to post their
Morning from
comments. But
Canada.
as you are entering the room, we invite you to share that same link that you have with at least 5 people and say, come join me, not sit down here so next to me. Come, man, come sit down and enjoy Saturday morning runnings with Lady D, Brainbox Jackie, Max, the poet herself, and of course, Sharns. I gave her the name, the conscious one. And yours truly, Lady D. Promises to be a great morning. Um, Looking forward to so much out of this conversation. So, good morning to Vero. Good morning to my Cliffy Cliff. Cliffy, it's so nice to see you. Cliffy is my mentee. Morning, Cliffs. How are you? Morning. And Vera said, true words, Lady D. All right. And we want to say hey to Sharon Wiles. I tell you, Sharon
From
is
Canada.
doing so
Wow,
Sharon is doing so much with her non-profit organization, going to the Philippines and all over. She was in Africa recently doing her missions work. She loved people and to see them and
wonderful.
accept Jesus Christ. So that's the
Yeah.
mission. So morning, Sharon. Hoping one of these days you can join us. Sharon have story, may I tell you.
I can
Oh yeah.
imagine.
Have story. But we all live very busy lives. So sometimes the time that we do the show, some people are
Yeah,
not
they
available.
overlap, time overlap.
Yes. But
Mm-hmm.
we're looking forward to having you and those of you who are always joining us. We've already um, put out the invitation that you can join us to say, hey, Lady D, me can come on one morning and you can come and
Mhm.
participate and have fun with us. And, it would be good, would be good. Right now, I'm looking over to the right because we look nice on the flat screen TV.
Oh well, yeah, I say.
Yes, may I look at it over there? Maybe turn on the
Let me
TV,
pose.
Uh-oh.
And I'm wearing Maxine's red this morning.
right?
Max
Yes.
like
Yeah.
Wanna
red.
smell my perfume? You smell my perfume on the flat screen?
I guess Max has gone way ahead of us. She has smell-o-vision. She has
Right?
smell-o-vision. So
The
she
last
has
time I
gone
know they
way
were
ahead of
working on it, I didn't know they perfected it. But look, but the way TVs are these days, anything soon possible, it soon be scratch
Listen,
I
and sniff.
know.
It's gonna be scratch and sniff TV in a little
scratch
bit.
and sniff. Yes, son.
I know.
So everybody have to submit their flavors. Like
Right?
people,
Yes.
everybody have to
I
submit
want
Yeah.
them. Say,
fragrance.
me,
So,
me, me
I'm
like
telling
this.
you.
Okay, like me
so gone
pudding.
were the days of
Pudding.
dial up, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Lotus one, two,
Telling you.
three.
Lotus one,
All
two,
of
three.
those, I tell you.
Oh
Um,
my
the,
Technology is
goodness.
moving that
the days,
fast.
the
But
days. So let me find
but
out now.
who for spirit can't take me now?
Sorry, me just sit and go ask because as we were growing up, right? We have said it. We can't take that somebody there, my spirit, something about that person there.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
have
Mm-hmm.
said it. There is something
Mm-hmm.
about that person that rub me wrong. I ever look upon them and see how them look. I mean, sometimes the description is so vivid that you walk
Mm-hmm.
away, even if you don't know the person, you walk
Person.
away
with a
thinking
Yes.
picture in
that
your head.
person really, based on what Denny said, that person that me no really want talk to them. Me no want
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
associate myself
Yeah.
with them. But there is something we're connected
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
that way, that spiritual way, that there is a discerning spirit. The word we never know what
That's
they
what it
have.
is.
We never know nothing about discernment.
No,
Eh,
sir.
All
that
we know
spirit
Yes.
we feel
take
something, or
Mm-hmm.
we felt something,
or sixth sense. We
or
never know about
sense
that.
something.
Right, right.
Gut
And
Mm-hmm.
feelings.
right away we say, You ever hear when people say,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
that
It means a
You
lot.
carry a bunch
It
of
means
friends
It,
to
it
your
doesn't
house
I
and
say
your
it
I
on
have
grandmother
phone.
look.
yeah,
Your
I
grandmother
have
look
a
on them
cousin.
and
I have a
then
cousin like that. If you
Mhm.
hear her, somebody I come and she say,
hmm,
nobody asks no question. Even if
Right.
you were in the midst of a discussion or you were about to divulge something, you know instinctively to hold on to it. No bother with it. 'Cause she said,
mm,
Mhm.
mm.
just no bother with it.
And there's also that there's different tones to it. So you know that it to
Mhm.
Yes,
me it
Yes,
could mean
ma'am.
more than one thing. It carries a
Mhm.
yes,
tone. Hmm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes,
hmm. You
Mm.
know,
But
that
but
low
Mhm.
tone,
but
that
member
high
say
tone.
yes.
member say you can't go up and come down. You can't say
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
ma'am.
You
That's
can't do
why.
that to you know.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Mm.
So if it have a missing piece, it's not the pleasant
Yes.
one.
No.
Lord have mercy.
So, what is it
No,
about
sir.
a person that causes us to feel
I,
that way? Is it
I think it's vibes.
something?
I
Mhm.
think it's vibes
Yes,
too.
Yes.
Mhm.
And if you
that
notice
energy.
nowadays, a lot of this whole thing positive vibes only.
Mhm.
You're
Yeah.
seeing that
Right.
on bumper stickers, on t-shirts, on mugs,
Yes.
on
On
all
social
kinds of
media
stuff.
a lot too.
Right, exactly.
Hmm.
It's being bandied about a lot. Positive vibes only or good vibes only because people are like forewarning anybody who is not on the positive side, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak.
Positive side.
Mhm.
Don't come mess
Don't
up
bring it
with it.
right.
Yeah.
Don't bring it over
Hmm.
here. Positive
Mm-hmm.
vibes, good vibes only. So it's like somebody come across and you say, boy, I'm gonna vibes them up, You
Yes.
bring somebody
Yes.
in my space,
Mhm.
and particularly sometimes the person is announced and you are expecting them. Sometimes it's unannounced, and the person come in your space, and all of a sudden it's like
Yeah.
a damper.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yes.
The
So
It create just
atmosphere
to
I
take
can tell
them.
you
change.
something. I can tell you something.
Yes.
Recently, I walked into the radio station and there was someone there as a guest on another program. And the host was saying, hey, it's Lady D, this, no, me no walk around with no feather in me cap kind of thing.
Right.
Where when me walk into a room, you have to stand to attention, or is me
Right.
this,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
I think.
Yes.
So I walked in and I said good evening and greet them up as usual. And so he said
Right.
to his guest, boy, a lady did this, she been here a long time and what have you. And it's almost like he was not talking to anyone. The person just did not acknowledge, didn't say
Mm.
anything, just looked. So right away, I'm like, you,
Yep,
you know,
yep.
Yeah,
right
you
away,
vibes
I
it up
picked
right
up
away.
that there are some
Yes.
people who are dismissive.
Yeah.
They
Right.
don't regard people
Mm.
unless it's
Hmm.
Hmm.
them. They are
Hmm.
narcissistic
Yes.
and a
Right.
whole lot of things I pick up in that one encounter.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
not,
And I
Right.
and
and it
I had
doesn't take long.
no, it
It
don't
don't
take
take
long.
No.
long,
Mm-mm.
Yes.
and that's
No.
why
I
They
when you
usually show up.
I had
yeah,
to pull that in
yeah,
my heart. I had to pull that and say, oh, okay.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As of yet, and I don't say a word. I didn't extend my hand and say hello. I just
Mm-mm.
looked at him and say,
Yes.
all right, you stay over there. So
That's
Right.
it.
you follow? So
Yeah.
Yes.
But you
That's
know
it.
what?
there's
I look
sometimes
I look in a situation like that. I look at it from two places. To me, sometimes some people you wonder if they don't know what to do. They don't know any better. They don't know that they should and greet you back. Or is it that the person is just stuck up? Because sometimes people are upset, man, and don't know better, and they don't know that they're supposed to respond or acknowledge. I think sometimes some people don't know that. They don't have the sense to know, so I should acknowledge.
Well, and
And
this
it could
is
be the
an
case where the person is just stuck up too.
So this
this
is
is
where
an
your intuition come in.
right, because this is an intellectual, right? A very
Okay.
Yes.
accomplished person. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they get, so I'm not here to judge. I'm just sharing an
Yes.
encounter, right? My experience. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
find that people um they get so absorbed into their own accomplishments and
Themselves.
who they
Yes.
are and so on that
Mm-hmm.
they tend not to regard you, or they think
Mm-hmm.
you might be a little intimidating, or they think that they should only be airy with people who they know.
Right.
Right.
That too.
Mm.
Right.
That
Yeah.
too.
I
Yeah.
was just saying, all right then. So I start take out my stuff and waiting to go on after the host, right? And carry on
Mm-hmm.
meeting. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
as they're all going through the door, the host a greet me up as usual, and me a greet them, and him just go straight through the door.
Oh, his
Wow.
spirit must not take you.
Ah, there you go. Oh,
No, you
that, that,
probably the same way you are summing up this person, is the
mm-hmm,
same way
Mm-hmm.
probably the person is summing you up just
mm-hmm,
by
Yes.
looking at it. Sometimes it can be so wrong because the person can just look at you and just make
mm-hmm.
an assumption as to who they think
Yes.
you are, or you
Right.
have an
Mm-hmm.
aura about you that they think that, oh, she must think so, she better than me, she not better than me.
Mm,
Yes.
right.
Something like that. Just like that crazy random thought coming into
Mm-hmm.
people's minds, and it's
And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes two
so
people are intimidated by you
unnerving.
because they hear you speak on the radio, they see you all the time and they hear. Sometimes they're intimidated. Sometimes they're shocked to they seeing you for the first time. They say, but wait, that's how she look. They're so shocked and taken into themselves that they can't even greet you,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So,
So
it could be anything.
right.
I
So
don't know. I don't think you can be so shocked that you couldn't just, especially in a small
Yeah.
environment like that, you couldn't just extend your
Mm-hmm.
hand.
Say something.
So
Yeah.
that's
You could say
something
something.
that's
Yeah.
something to me has to do with narcissism.
because I was
But
ready
it's
to
like give them the
say
benefit of the doubt.
hello,
They don't know.
I was ready to say hello
Mm-hmm.
and so on. But I mean,
Right.
he just looked over at me and kept talking to the host. I'm like, all right.
That is that is that
Yeah.
is beyond
Wow.
rude. It can be
Yeah, well, people like
misogyny
that.
too, because sometimes when a woman is in a position of power, so to speak, or of
Yes.
relevance, or of visibility, high visibility,
Yes.
you know, that too can trigger that sort of response.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yes.
lady D in the Caribbean community, broadcasting, she's a household name. So I don't know
Right.
who around the court, particularly being in the environment, would not have heard of her. So that was a deliberate put
Exactly.
down. So
True.
sometimes it's misogyny. You have some men who don't, and not just men, because misogyny is just the hatred of women, period. But
Hmm.
particularly,
Right. Mm-hmm.
if you're in a little position, or they think, as humble and nice as Lady D is, I guess if you're going to take somebody by face value, you might think something else. But we're not going off of, this topic is not with regards to how a person looks per se.
No. Mm-hmm.
Somebody can come into a warm environment and you feel a coldness,
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I've
coldness,
had that
and it's
True.
like,
experience.
yeah, you just feel a coldness, like
I've
everything
had
was
that
was
experience.
Was
cool
ice.
and
Mm.
nice and airy, and everything did
Until
flow
that
well.
person show up.
Yeah, and sometimes these persons, they come in and they're sugary sweet, they're not coming in like them is
Yes.
no Debbie Downer. They're
Mm-hmm.
coming in
Yes.
sugary sweet, and just by virtue of them being overly so,
Right.
it will cause you to start look on them from the corner. I be like, okay, what is this person up to? And if them are pour it on too
Right.
thick, or them are spread themselves around
Hmm.
too much, and
Mm-hmm.
too
Right. Yeah.
suddenly, you can
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
deduce, yeah, you can deduce some things from that. And sometimes, a person may be naturally effusive in them greeting and them all that, and it turn out that them nice. But sometimes when you get that intuition, they hear from the
Yeah.
back of your head,
Stand up,
start
Stand up.
twitch.
Stand
Or
up.
some people say, Lord, me eyelid a twitch and whatever.
Hey, I may I
Don't,
jump.
yes,
but
don't play it, because sometimes,
also,
uh-huh.
so often it's said that women have that sixth sense. And if
Yes.
we only use it more, would
Mm-hmm.
make better decisions. And we
Mm-hmm.
get that so many times and we've ignored it. I have come into situations where I've had, that feeling and I ignored it. Like
Mhm.
say, let
Yes.
me give the person the benefit of the doubt. And when I go
Absolutely.
back,
Yes.
my first feeling was so right,
Right, yes.
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yes.
So sometimes we need to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, as Caribbean people, so before I go into that, because I wanted to just, present different scenarios, and as always,
Mm-hmm.
ladies, you pop in with yours. But let's acknowledge our. So, Tony is here. So, Tony, morning, Tony. Looking forward to seeing you soon. So, Tony, she was a
King
guest on my
Ryan.
show recently.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and
Tony.
Tony's into wines.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Tony's into wines.
Tony,
And
I tried a chocolate wine
mm,
last week and it was
Wow.
so good.
Wow, a chocolate wine.
yes,
You
Yes, a
got the taste
chocolate
feeling in your mouth,
infused.
Jackie.
Oh, a chocolate infused. I worked for a wine company for a while,
yes,
but
ma'am.
that
Mm.
chocolate infused, oh, I
So,
like.
good morning, Jan. Jan, please share with at least 5 persons the link that you're so enjoying right about now. So, Janet says, good morning, ladies. I am a person that consists of his only do you. Oh, Janet, we see something, learn to know. All right. We'll figure that out in a minute. All right. He says, all right. And it repeated itself. Okay. All right. Here we go now. Say, Andrea says, it has happened to me. And I'm like, I don't go about not liking people. My spirit just not taking to this person, only to find out the person is very dishonest or
Darua.
a cheated individual. See, they know.
Mm-hmm.
So you are one of them reader lady there, Andrea.
Yes, man.
Yes.
Yes, Andrea.
As the promo suggests. Or the person is all about themselves,
Oh my
Yes.
deceitful.
goodness.
Morning, King Ryan. He says, hey, Lord, Sister Max, the office look nice. Kuya. Love
Aye.
the
Lord.
drapes in the morning.
Thank you, Ryan.
So right in your office. Lord.
Yeah.
All right.
Ryan, somebody like me, no pass no people business.
Charles, he says, good morning, Saturday family. Morning, Charlesy.
Morning, Charlie.
Um,
Morning.
King says, I have a boss like that. He don't like women in charge.
In
Mm-hmm.
charge. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
yeah.
People are like
And
that.
Yeah.
he
Trust
con-
me, a lot of men have that.
yes, he continues by saying, all men need to know that we come out. Yes, sir.
Came
We were
from
born
women.
Of
of a
women.
woman. Mhm,
Absolutely.
mhm.
Well
Oh
said,
my
Ryan.
goodness.
Right.
May I,
So,
may I share
yes,
a little story? I
sure.
remember when I was in Jamaica, I worked for a small hotel. This is when some of the returning residents, were invited to come back and open businesses and, just start to do some building and stuff like that. And this family, they came back to Jamaica from England and they opened a small hotel. And I was working there at the front desk. So no, this young lady was working there. She was leaving, and she told me about the job. And at the time, I was looking for a job, and I got the job. And the moment I went for the interview, the fellow who interviewed me was a lady's son, and I knew immediately that it was not going to be a good
Mm,
work environment. I had
Mm.
he and I. That spark between he and I were like, when magnets opposite not
Mm-hmm.
attract and them just
Mm-hmm.
that was immediate. I don't know. He had some kind of just the tone of his voice, the way he talked. And I tried to tell myself you can't take offense to, somebody's authoritative voice because maybe
Tone.
that's just how
Mm-hmm.
they are. But when
Mm-hmm.
I started working at the desk, I don't know. There was just something that between he and I, we just couldn't get along.
Just couldn't
His
connect,
voice,
yeah.
yes. If I even went and asked him for something, the way he answered, it was offensive. And he would come and he would stand at the door, and if he gave a command or asked for something, the way it was done, there was just this opposite, magnet that just didn't gel. Something between he
Yeah.
and I.
Just
And
unconnect.
eventually I had to leave because I felt the moment I walked in the place, that tension just started. You can cut it with a knife.
Oh,
That
wow.
tension was
Wow.
just
I can't
there.
work in an environment like that, you know.
No,
I can't
Mm-mm.
stand
I
environment
had to
like that.
leave.
If I
It
can't be
becomes
relaxed,
toxic.
I don't want to be there.
I was waiting to get another job because I had put in for another job that came through, and I was so happy because it wasn't a good situation. And the people, whoever was left there, they just left one behind the other. There was he had this bad attitude. I guess it came out even more, and
Boss,
it
yeah,
just wasn't.
sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Now,
I
and
had a situation. I had a similar situation. I worked in the hotel industry when I lived in Jamaica, and it was the wife who interviewed me. It was a family-owned hotel, and it was the wife who interviewed me. Her and I kicked it off. The first day she interviewed me, she just loved me. We hugged, we prayed together because she was having issues with the husband who had his ways about him. And I prayed with her, and we had a good relationship, her and I. But for some reason, the husband and I couldn't stand him because he was flirty. And for
Uh-oh.
some reason, in realizing couldn't get him away with me. When I see him, it was always business as usual for me. It was business. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
into any smiling up and laugh and joke thing. I was always very serious, very professional with him. And but with the other girls, that son, it's like him couldn't stand me because he couldn't come to me like that. And I eventually left the job because I realized, I had to work with him a lot too. And I
Mm-hmm.
just
Oh
couldn't
my.
connect, as Jackie was saying. I
Nothing
couldn't
worse than
connect to
that.
it because he would want it the giggly way and the nice, so he could come
Oh.
around to me like he did with the other girls. And I wasn't into that.
then come around.
Mm-hmm.
He called everybody by first name. He called me Mrs. Lyons because I'm married. So
Right.
Mm-hmm.
him couldn't get away. So after a while, I just couldn't stand it from it. I ended up resigning from the job because I just
Mm-hmm.
could not take him.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I know what
You
you mean,
know,
Jackie.
so that's what I'm saying. At some point in our
Eh,
lives, or many times in our lives, we have had to say, "Miss Spirit, not take that person," you
Oh,
know.
not
yeah.
take that
Yes.
Yeah.
person.
Listen, it
Mm-hmm.
that can happen. That can happen weekly, if not daily.
Right.
That can happen weekly, if not daily. I'm
Yeah.
telling because
Absolutely.
and then what I have learned to do is not to reason the feeling away, because like sometimes the first feeling you get is the correct one.
I think
And
so.
when you
Yes.
Yes,
second guess
True.
yourself, yeah, when you
yes,
second guess yourself and say, I wonder if for me, I wonder if me two
yes,
touches, I wonder. No, you're
Mm-hmm.
reasoning it
yes. That's
away.
what I
You
said earlier. Yes, Janet, you're right.
Yeah, you get
Mm-hmm.
that's our reason. And
Yes.
sometimes when we don't play it, because sometimes given the situations, you may have the person may be related to somebody who's dear to you, or a good friend, a sibling, or the person is a bag of chips and all that. And and you say, Lord, I wonder if, but believe me, people are like chameleons. Sometimes the way you are with this person over here, given a different set of
Mm-hmm.
circumstances, you're something else and you're something else. But if you're a wolf in sheep's clothing,
Mm-hmm.
either your fangs are gonna show or
Oh,
something gonna show to
I
let
don't
somebody
take
Something, yes.
long.
realize.
It
Yeah, and
doesn't take
You
sometimes
long.
can
it's for
hide it.
self-preservation. If you
Invent.
realize that, well,
Yes.
look here. Yeah, and then you know what? So sometimes it can happen too, where say you're a young lady and you're dating, you met this guy, and good looking and looking, whatever your physical attraction situation is, whatever your requirements are, that person fit to a T. And you
Mm-hmm.
take them now to a family member, or they're in a situation, rather they come home with you, or probably you're having an event and that person is there, and somebody in the family, because I would dare to say all of us have somebody in our family who is spot on with them things. If auntie
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
if auntie
Yes.
Gloria come and say, mm-mm, mm-mm, Not
Oh.
that one.
But
No
that's
matter
very
how
true.
you was over the moon, all of a sudden you say, "Oh Lord, what happened?" No,
Yeah.
and sometimes
Yes,
it is, yeah. Because I have a cousin like that. If my grandmother always say, if she says something, no go come,
Mm-hmm.
no go come. When
yes.
she said, that's what it is. And if you don't, if
Yes,
you don't listen and take heed, it is gonna be to your detriment. And I've seen that
Mhm.
happen.
yes,
I have
Yeah.
seen that
yes.
happen. People get ripped off and
Mm-hmm.
all kind of something because what, when they were supposed to not run into
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
this thing that look like it have nothing but silver lining,
Mm-hmm.
you brush the feeling aside. And you know what, the other thing I find too, I don't know how, I could probably do a poll with y'all. Do you, all right, how do you feel about telling somebody Miss Spirit not take you, or do you just downplay it, you rather not say it? How do you handle it,
Well,
Jackie?
I
What
have
would you
never
do?
said that to anybody. I have never said to anybody, "Miss
It
Spirit not take you." I
depends.
mean, to me, even if I have it within myself, I would not say it out loud to somebody because I don't like to embarrass people like that. So even if it's in my head that me not care about her too much, but I would never. I have never said it, and I don't think I would have the guts to do it either.
So
When I
I
was
can
growing
be.
up as a child,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, as
Continue.
a
Go
child
ahead.
growing up, my I have an uncle that's still living in Jamaica. His wife passed away, but his wife back then, I was only a little girl. She used to use that expression a lot. Miss Spirit not take her, and then she would say it, and she would call the person name. Boy, Miss Spirit can't take Lana, and she would say it with a look on her face. The expression on her face. That right away that she really not like this person. And I,
Uh-huh.
and I and I as a child, I used to wonder why, because I would look at Miss Lana as an okay person.
Mm-hmm.
But she would
Mm-hmm.
she would say, "I can't take Miss Lana," and look with a look on her face as if to say, "Boy, Miss Lana is the worst person on earth." And I couldn't figure it out. But then now that I'm an adult and I look back, I realize too why. Because a lot of stuff we hear as
Mhm.
kids growing up, which we don't understand, but when we become adults and we look back, we realize, oh, that's what they really
Yes.
mean. This is what, yeah,
Yeah.
It
because we
becomes
now start
apparent why,
experiencing.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So for me,
So,
I may not have come out and say it, but I can be quite diplomatic. And
yes,
Mm-hmm.
so,
Yeah.
I know how to word up the thing and communicate it to you that,
right.
something off here. So
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yes,
that's the way I handle it. But as
right.
Charlotte says, so we have a typical experience. So I had met this guy one time and we went out few times. But every time I'm like, one time, all right. So in the first encounter, right, we had dinner. Dinner was nice. Me all have one scarf where me carry, which I thought was a nice
Oh,
gesture, right? So then there is that. And then went out with him like maybe three times after. So I have a good friend. So we did tell her, so me go, because anywhere I'm going, I usually make either family might know,
Somebody know.
must know
Yeah.
when we're gone. So
You have
I
to have
I had
a
right.
wing woman.
So I had shown her a photograph. Would you believe the first moment she looked at the photograph, she said, you know, like,
Uh-oh.
mm-mm.
yeah, she just said,
Oh Lord.
you don't like him. So,
Lord of mercy.
No, sir.
she said, Denise. So it wasn't his appearance
Eh,
because he was nice looking, but
Yeah,
there was
usually it's not the
something about
appearance,
him,
there is
something about him
something.
that she looking at the photograph. So me say, really? And she said, I me say, all right, let me just play out with it. I wasn't offended or anything. And
Mm-hmm.
Right.
it wasn't like maybe 2 dates after. It didn't work. Him do some foolishness. And me say, see there,
Mm-hmm.
you keep moving, master. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes
Yes.
I'm telling you what and then
Yes.
with these kinds of getting to know you thing. Yes, you are trying to figure out who this is
Right.
and you're trying to figure out who you
Mm-hmm.
are too, but somebody else might just see over your head,
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
right?
They're
Something
That's
that
they're
you
true.
looking
can't
they're
see
looking
yourself.
through a
Uh-huh.
different set of lenses.
See?
Your
Yes.
lenses are
Because a lot
rose
of times
colored,
when
You
we
you have rose colored
For
lenses, but
real.
they're looking out of
yes,
clear lenses.
yes,
And
Yes.
they can tell. Yeah, it could be
true.
a parent with a kid, you know, whether the kid is in high school, the kid is in college, whatever, and then
Mhm.
bring a friend home. You listen, you have people practicing all kind of something of them yard, you know, and they come a year
Yes.
yard and right away say, no, something
Mm-hmm.
wrong the one you saw. You
Yes.
almost want to pull out your olive oil because you say, no, this one is a little strong it.
Yeah.
And not in a good way. I'm
It's
telling you,
true.
some
It's
people with some
true.
religions and
Oh
some
Yeah, yeah,
God.
yeah,
I
yeah.
walk
Sometimes I
with
want to pull out
voodoo
the olive
doll.
oil.
Yes. Because
I
growing
walk
up in,
with
I'm telling
voodoo
you,
doll and push pin. And
I,
come and you see them so they say, no, no, not in here.
Hey.
I, I can tell you, growing up in Penance, right? A very modern community, but not not with people, a lot of people with modern traditions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were so steeped in certain things that you
That's
would
part of
have,
our charm, you know.
so you would, and this is where
Exactly.
the spirit not take you effect
Yes.
really comes into play,
Mm-hmm.
because if this family is aware of another family's dabblings, then we simply tell them children, because we grew up in a time where your parents did not hold back anything on based on
Yes.
what
Mm-hmm.
they felt
No, sir.
and what
Them I
that
tell it
discerning
straight up.
spirit was telling them. So they would say, yes, you go to school with Mary and John, but then put foot in your so they not
Mm-hmm.
Oh
And then
come
tell
in
boy.
them,
the house
and then tell them, say, you know, put, no, let me catch you over
because
Mary yard.
for me spirit and for them spirit no
It was
mesh.
showing that
Yeah.
Yes.
this
So
feeling, this
and
this kind
that
of
also that 1 minute, Jack. That also in my head as I'm looking back, even with the market people, because me grew up Clarendon, me leave town go country. I was so aware, not at the time,
Mm-hmm.
how people kind of flow with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the market people, them going up in a papa's truck. Who to this day,
Mm-hmm.
me no know how they had him on the road because him couldn't drive to save him life, you
Lord
ask.
Jesus.
Stop
That's
it.
only for a different show.
But seriously, these
Lord,
market
sir.
people knew who they wanted to
God
stall
have
next to,
mercy.
who
Yes.
them stall must be
Yes.
against,
Oh, yes.
who how them position themselves into the
Mm-hmm.
truck. Me no know how you manage that, but certain things they just knew that that woman over there so or that
Mm-hmm.
man over there so there's no way him a go sell next to me because
Yeah.
if ever
Yes.
I smell a certain way. So the
Mm-hmm.
spirit
Right.
mean for me, spirit not take you is not even so much about what you say, but it's about how
Yes.
you conduct yourself. When you do,
Right.
Yeah.
The
Some people
aura.
have an
Yes.
air of mystery.
Yes.
A
mhm,
very
Yes.
and it's some darkness. It's not like, oh, you don't really know the person. It's some darkness you can't really put your finger on, but it's
Ah,
hanging
yes.
and it's hanging
Yes.
around, it's hanging
yes,
low.
That's true. And
yes,
once they come around you, you pick it up. It's like you just pick it up once they come around you. You you
Yeah,
you 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 you, you, you your aura changes because you feel it.
yeah. But you know what? Go back to the fact when I asked, because Jackie didn't get to answer when I said, would you say to somebody, Miss Prit, not take you, or would you just like be diplomatic about it? Max, you had your
Diplomatic.
answer, lady. Do you have your answer? Jackie, what say you?
mhm,
Diplomacy. I had to. I was in a similar situation, and it was where I used to work. I was supervising a bunch of people, and there was this one young lady who she kept having, issues coming to work, and when she's at work, like the things that she does, and
you are
all of that.
Herman. Sorry, Jackie, I'm just reading Herman's comment. Sorry, continue and then I'll get to Herman in a
But still,
minute.
I never want to laugh still, But and I had to confront her, but I had to be diplomatic about it. I said I had to. I took her aside and I said to her, I said, maybe we should start over. There was always a little rift between her and I. I said maybe we should start over. where did I go wrong? It's something I realize that we're just not getting along, and you know, I'm your supervisor, and I have to follow the rules of the company coming down the line. So there are certain things that I have to dish out. I have to initiate certain things. I have to get certain things done. I have to give you guys instructions, and if you're not following through, then I have to talk to you. So where did I go wrong with you? Can we start over so we can do this right?
Right.
You know, that's how I got through to her. And she started
Well,
telling me
that was very sweet.
a whole bunch of things that was going on with her. She a
Okay.
whole bunch of situation, and now everything started to open. She started to open up and tell me, you know, everything that was going on with her. Because she was even when I went home, because it was you know, I don't really want to say where it was, but when I went home at night in the evening, she would be working until 9. And she would leave like from 7:30, sometimes 8. And they said she changed at work and gone.
So she was having challenge.
Yeah, so things were going on like that, and we kind of resolved it from there. And we had to go see the manager after that.
So then we could have perhaps said, no, judge a book by its cover, but sometimes we know.
Yes, true.
But that's an isolated situation, right?
Yeah.
If we're judging book by its cover, because sometimes people genuinely just not.
But that man actually came to me one day. The man at the hotel came to me one day and he said, there is something between you and I. You and I are I just don't. Our spirits are fighting.
Really?
Yes, and he said you and I just don't get on. I said it won't be for long because I'm about to get
the
out.
nerve. And after you would get the feeling and never say nothing and him come tell you. You see, you should have tell him first.
Should I tell him first?
So Janet says, all right, so let's hop on the chat. Good morning, everyone. 10:51 a.m. It's Saturday Morning Runnings. Jackie, Max, Sherns, and yours truly, Lady D. We're having a good conversation. And I tell you, there's something about the 4 or 5 of us. Of course, Jenny's not here this morning, but we all just gel like that.
Gel and Mel.
Yes, we gel. We gel and Mel. So Janet says, I would say to someone, your behavior is not nice, rather than saying, Miss Spirit, Nuh Tek Yuh, because sometimes one's behavior does not all the time define them. It could be what is happening with them. And she had posted that before you just mentioned that, Jack. So welcome to a girl, Herman. When I was talking about families and people who no go at each other yard and stuff, Herman says, my dad tell my sister, no make him come back here.
Just like that, straight to the point.
Straight to the bone.
No sugar coating.
So Herman, she says, mind how you talk about papas. For him.
My grandmother.
He married to my
Oh Lord!
Oh my goodness!
This is funny.
Yeah.
This is nothing but fun.
My regards, Herman. So, but seriously, wherever we were brought up, wherever in the world we come from, there is that thing instinctively, innately, we know when something off.
Yeah.
Yes.
People, you have had people who they that's how they started off. May never like you, and somehow they ended up having to have conversations over time, whether people drew them together, you know, whatever that scenario would have been, and them say, boy, me never know say I saw you're nice. Right?
Yes.
After
I've
they
heard that.
put to you.
Yes.
Because it was just this past weekend I was up in Poughkeepsie. And as I'm there Monday, Monday, I was making breakfast. And as I'm there talking to, she's like my cousin, not by blood, but, you know, through family. So I, you know,
Right.
and I'm there with her. And I said, you know, Subs, You know, one time I think you never like me. Just like that, you know.
No.
Because I felt that years prior. And she said,
Right.
really? Me say, yeah, me just never think so you did like me. She said, no, 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 no. And you know, we just start talking. Granted, we good now, you know, but it dawned on
Yes.
me that here I am in her kitchen. But one time I did genuinely think, say, our spirit no take me. And then
You grow up on her, man. You grow up on her.
I guess
Yes.
I would
Yes.
say so. And changes, you know, came along
Ah,
in
Uh-huh.
the whole period of us knowing each
You know, there's another way to discover when somebody's spirit attack you, you know, because I've had the experience where you're around this person and you do everything to make this person feel good and to make this person feel right. You do everything, you treat them well, and no matter what you do, you can't, they
it's
don't
never
connect
enough.
with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's like what no
Yeah.
matter what you do, it's never enough. I've had that experience.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something
Mm-hmm.
I want to share that I read. I read this on Google because last night I Googled the topic, Miss Spirit Not Take You. And this is what Google gave me, ladies. It says, keep reading. Pick up a bottle of rum as a gift and try the friendship again when you get home. Miss Spirit take you. My spirit takes you. So I don't know this how the spirit and the rum come into their conversation, but that's what it
And the
says.
spirit of the rum.
The spirit and the rum is pick up a bottle of rum as a gift and try the friendship again when you get home.
Well,
Miss Spirit take you. So you
them
know that's
coming
what
from
I
a
put when I Google.
them coming from a whole different angle.
Different angle.
Different
A,
angle,
dif-
the spirit.
a different angle. Them try, but it's
Can
a
try, I
different
know,
angle.
yeah.
And to
Different angle.
well, you see, I go and to the
Yeah.
point, you know, in some instances, people will be there boiling up inside how them not like this person, them spirit not take them. And then we
Take him.
say them are crosses people.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You know, if they see the person that come there and say, when this a crosses one, I go no.
Yes.
And those are
And
things to say.
sometimes in cases too, you see somebody you have never yet spoken to the person, never had a conversation, but your spirit doesn't take the person.
Mhm.
Why? Because
Yes.
I've had that thing, yeah. You just see the
Mm-hmm.
person and say, my spirit to take him. You never had a conversation, never have anything to do with this person, never talk to them, don't even know them. But you
You
just
don't
look
even
at the
plan.
aura, the outlook,
Yeah,
and
you
just
don't even
tell yourself,
plan
say
to
your
talk
spirit
to
to
them
take him.
either.
Mhm.
Plan
No.
on it.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
based on
it
what we were
happens.
saying this morning, and yes, we're still on Miss Spirit Not Take You. But could it also be because sometimes people carry a very commanding presence. There's an aura about.
Yes.
I know, like you're
Mm-hmm.
bossy, but there's self-confidence.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we use the term and we know it exists that people will badmine you. So they
Mm-hmm.
will
Yes.
right away take, you know, a position that she thinks she all that or him think him all that.
Yes.
Who them think them be so. And right away,
Right.
them just say their spirit not take that somebody there.
Thank
It's
you.
just too much
Yeah.
in that, you know. And unknowingly to you,
You-
you're just being yourself.
Right.
right. You described it
But
well.
Yeah.
they just,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, mm, the bad mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, yes.
And
But
then
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and them say you too guani.
guani guani.
I do bossy.
Yeah. Because you have some people, they just have this presence. You will enter a room and okay, Jackie just come in. And go. But
Mm-hmm.
this person will just walk into the room and immediately it's like, even when people don't know that person, it's like eyes
Mm-hmm.
on them. And then people start to talk and who him think him is and who she thinks she is.
Yes.
They just have that presence that they
Yeah.
walk with
Right.
that confidence and that presence. As soon as they walk into a room, you can see them. You just see them, and some people
Yes.
have a
Yeah.
problem with that.
So what about the person now? We said they not brought up. Them walk into a room, then just loud. Everybody else did quiet.
Oh, well,
And
Yes.
right away in your spirit, you're like, they can just stop talk now.
thank
Them
you.
pick up
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
phone,
Yes.
know somebody, and find somebody, but them just gone over and just a talk, just a talk.
Mm-hmm.
while
Go on,
They
go
would
on. You
they
can't
would
find for
say
a minute. Yeah.
they would say that person is using up all the oxygen in the room.
hey,
Using up all the oxygen. I have worked with people like that.
yeah,
They're
Mm-hmm.
coming to the space and they just dominate, and not in a nice way.
Yes.
Because you can have a commanding presence, and that's just part of your personality. That's
mhm,
just how you are.
Right.
You know, but you're
Mm-hmm.
not coming to diminish somebody else's existence. That is just how you
Right.
carry yourself. While you have some persons who they will come in and they will just demolish whatever was going on. You
Yes.
had something, whether
Take
it be a
over artists.
meeting, yeah, whether it be a meeting, whether formal or informal,
Yeah.
and they just come in and just throw them weight around. And before you know it, you were heading south, and now you're heading north, and you're just
Mm-hmm.
discombobulated all over the place, because that's just, they're coming like a hurricane, put it that way. They just blow in with no direction, mash it up, and then them leave.
Mash it up.
And then them
And
leave you to
God,
pick up the
networking like
pieces.
that.
mhm,
Yeah, and then leave you to pick
Yeah.
up the pieces, because them just blow through like a
Right.
hurricane and gone.
gone.
Or like
Mm-hmm.
a
Yes.
wrecking ball. They just come in and wreck the
Contributed,
thing. Yeah, it
contributed
would be like
nothing
you have a
to
club.
the
You're doing
meeting.
a club. What you say, Jackie?
Contribute. I said contributed nothing to the meeting. You mentioned
Precisely.
meeting.
Yes.
No, they contribute chaos. That's all it is.
Chaos.
Mad. Yeah.
Chaotic, and then just gone. So
Mhm,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes,
Right.
I mean, I have no issues telling somebody my spirit not take you. We don't have not even 1 second of issues. I'm
mhm,
not gonna blurt
Okay.
it out just to be disrespectful, but I have had to tell people that, because of the fact that they weren't picking up the subtle hints.
mhm.
You
Okay.
can be very subtle, and you can be
And nice.
diplomatic, and you,
Mhm,
yeah, and put, I mean, yeah, if somebody is not of your, uh what is it? No, you're not yardy like me, or West Indian, understand fatwa, and you're from here or somewhere
Yes.
else. Then I have to put it a different way, because me looking at you and say, spirit not taking them, not have a clue
I'm
what
not
you're
gonna
talking about.
understand. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
But I've had to Jamaicans, West Indians, wherever you come from in the Caribbean, you understand what that mean, and
mhm,
you persist and persist. Me have to stop and look at it and say, watch her, back up, come spirit not take you. But
mhm.
when you get to a certain age, about the sugarcoat things. And I
Yes.
No.
found
Yes.
when I turned 40, everything flew out the window for me.
Eh,
Whatever I meant
Yes.
is what I said. I'm not gonna,
Yes.
like, belittle anybody, or I'm not going to be rude to anybody. But
mhm,
I found
But you
that
tell
I
them
would
as is.
just say, yeah, man, me just want to say something, me just say it. Me can't bother go around there. So, like, when you're in your
Corner.
20s,
Yes.
you kind of, I guess you care what people think, you want to make an impression, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to an older age, been there and done that, that's when the person someone cut it out. It's like you have a child. You just having children, you're not, you don't know how kids behave, and you might bear with them in some of their clumsy misunderstandings and so on. But when you become a grandmother, you see a child that come with something that you have already seen. When you tell them, cut it out.
mhm.
But a soft
Yes.
pedal, and tell them cut it out. So
Yes.
sometimes you have had to look at some people and say, watch out, spirit not take you in a boss. Move it over there, sir. Sister, put it over there. So
Yeah.
that's just
When you're
me.
gonna something
Right.
So,
around here, me and you.
so
Yeah, we now
what I
go on.
so
Mm-mm.
what I can tell you
You
is
know what,
that when
Shirley?
I
I
was young,
totally
when
understand.
one minute, Max, when
Sorry.
I was younger,
Sorry.
I used to walk with the chip on my shoulder that I can actually, say when me feel. I was less tactful,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it would come off painful. It would be very hard because I am not
Mm-hmm.
measuring my words until something had happened to me, and I had to literally draw down in my
Mm-hmm.
mental reserve to
Mm-hmm.
preserve me from falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I then learned that, hey, you can say what you want to say. You can express yourself, but at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, and that's just me. At the same time, In my effort to do so, I need to be more mindful of how words impact people, how I can season it a little better and still communicate
Mm-hmm.
what I want to say to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of those same people who I was very harsh with and so on had to become my sounding board.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So that experience shifted the way I think
Mm-hmm.
to this day. I
Mm-hmm.
will laugh, I'll be funny. If you say something to me that I don't like, I can still tell you, but I'm not as brash.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of persona I had taken on. And you start work and make little your own money and do your own thing, kind of thing. It can let you lose yourself.
Yeah.
Cause you
Right.
You
think you're
think
rich.
you think you have arrived?
You
You're
think
rich, you're
Yes,
right.
man. She has
come off my
arrived.
bus, you can't even knock your bus and say driver,
Ah.
right? So I
Yes.
have learned that yes, I have a discerning spirit that I know about a gift that I have. But
Right.
how do I channel it? I know to
Mm-hmm.
channel it because God give me that how to channel it now. So you can be talking to me, and I know as me talking to you, you're not really in me. But the grace,
Yes.
God's grace, may I tell you, allow
Yes.
me to just flow with you. And then before you know it, you may stress you so much because me not say much.
Mm-hmm.
We stress you by not taking
Yes.
you on.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things me no need to carry me energy to.
Right. Right.
Right.
I'm
Waste of
Right.
energy.
because
Waste of
it will
energy. Yeah.
get out of shape.
Yeah.
So certain things I don't feed into, and you may think, oh, she
Mm-hmm.
not really like fight back. But me know when me battles, I know what battles to
I
take
was
up.
about to
Pick your
say
Everybody,
battles.
yes.
You
you
pick
pick
your
your battles.
battles.
Yeah,
Everyone,
and you
yes.
don't have you don't have
And
to be
what to leave
combative
alone.
either. And that comes with maturity.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, that comes with maturity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, and that's the point I wanted to make. That you mentioned maturity, because as you mentioned, Shernit, when I was younger, there are certain things I would just hold on to and keep it to myself, and I would be hurting inside, and I wouldn't speak up. But now, as I get older, I find myself speaking out more. As
Right.
Mm-hmm.
one of our friends in our business, one of our business partners would say, him not have no fridge. In other words, he not put up nothing. When you not have no fridge, you not put up nothing. You just say it.
Oh.
Yes, instead of have no fridge, him just say it as is. He just tell it like it is. But
Mm-hmm.
but you have to be very tactful how you say things to people. As the lady
Yeah.
D was
Yeah.
saying, you don't
Yeah.
have to be blatant and rude and aggressive. You can say it in such a way that the person is not. All
But
right.
Herman. Herman. I'm sorry.
Herman is on a roll.
Herman.
Something for
that can go two ways too, Maxine, because sometimes they say people come in like all fridge. So it's like they leak out everything.
Herman. Herman said,
no.
I have something from verbal diarrhea.
Diarrhea. Oh my
Oh my
God. This is
God.
too funny.
Morning, my Empress Audrey. Morning, Audrey. How
Oh
you
God.
doing? Morning to
Morning,
you.
Yes,
Empress.
love that.
Jesus.
We always, we Empress. We always
I
festive,
agree.
Empress. You need to come around more
From the
often. We
festive
always
morning.
festive. Lord have mercy.
But
But
it's
the
good
old
that we can be
fridge.
honest. We can be honest and share. Because I'm a person.
Mhm.
I'm very. I gauge what I need to disclose. Because we're not fool people.
Right,
Go tell everything, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
right.
sometimes you have to measure, and people who are going through a similar phase of their lives, can say, boy, at some point, you have to kind of know. If you find some people who are very intrusive, them just in you, in your spirit, in. in everything them
In your business,
them
digging out, trying to
Yes.
dig out
involved
everything where
over.
you're trying to just
Yeah.
put
There are
aside.
people with that kind of personality, and you
Yeah.
have to, when you
Mhm.
meet them, you have to know how to manage them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know to manage people,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
if you don't, half the time you end up just constantly have an argument or there's some confrontation.
Yes.
Right.
And
Mhm.
when you look
Mm-hmm.
back
Confrontation.
at it,
Yes.
you're like, why me never shut that down? Why?
Right.
So, the Miss Spirit not take you. There's so many variables involved.
Yeah,
To it.
it's a lot.
True.
That alone, that says a lot without going into specifics.
Mm,
Without that
Yes.
is what I'm saying. I have been in situations where I've had to literally stop because it's like we're not playing on Mr. Nice Guy here. I know you're full of
Mhm.
it. You want to shovel it my way. I'm not taking it. I don't have time. Not today. I have a shirt that
Right.
says no, not today.
mhm.
Right.
It just said, no, not today.
Not
So
today.
sometimes you're in a situation like that, or you have been down that road before, and the
Mm-hmm.
last time you're playing nice, and this time you know what you went through the previous time. And you tell
Mhm.
yourself that
Mhm.
I'm not going, if you have any sense at
Down that
all,
road again.
and you're going to learn by your
Mhm.
experiences, you have to really shut it down and say, look here, we no mesh.
Mhm.
We just no
Yes.
mesh at all.
Mhm.
And
I
a
say
lot of
left,
that
you
too,
say right. Me say up, you say down. While the
Down.
obvious thing
you know,
is
make a
there.
sense. A lot of
It
that
don't
too
make
is
any
based on
sense.
our past experiences. Like Lady D said, she used to be very blunt. And I've been told that before by even family members, you know, that, but the thing is, when everybody else is trying to
Jackie,
sugar, eh?
hold on. I'm just popping in to say I have a shirt that says that too.
Hey, okay, you
Wait,
collected
say, what
items.
shirt say?
I have
The
a shirt that
collector.
says I am blunt because God rolled me that way.
True.
Lord.
Yes, I like it too. It go,
Yes,
yeah.
I am a mess.
Yeah.
So no prayer for me, huh?
And you know, so based on your experiences before, like Lady said, you know, her bluntness kind of it settled down to where you have to be more diplomatic at this age. For you now, it's at 40. You said, all right, we're going to cut out the foolishness. We're going to just say it
Yep,
like it is. I
yep.
still have that. I still have that with
Mhm.
people, but you know, it depends on the situation. If it's somebody who just won't get it, and I think that I've always said to like to friends, if there's a guy or somebody who's trying to get at you or come into your space and you get that feeling about them and they just won't get the
Mm-hmm.
message, be blunt because that's the only way they're gonna get the message. Just
Yep,
be blunt. You're not
yep.
my type. I
Yeah.
don't want you. It's like I was telling my sister about the New York City. At one time they had a reject line, a phone
Mm.
number that I
Yeah.
remember I got that phone number off the Regis Philbin show
Yes.
years ago.
I
And
remember it.
I had to use it a few times. It came in very handy for me. So this guy was following me and bothering me and wanted my number, and I just gave him that number. So when he
Mm-hmm.
called, you know what the number says? The person who gave you this number does not want to speak to you, does
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
want to see you,
Yeah.
does not want you to
Oh
call them.
Lord.
It's like it just tells
Mhm.
them for
Right.
you.
I remember that number. Yeah, I remember. You could
Yeah,
use
and I
that
had it
number.
up to a few phones ago. I had it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But it depends on your situation. Sometimes you have to just curb it to the will.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And
Yeah,
when you get there, you get there.
right.
Oh, Tony says, laugh out loud. My shirt says, inhale Jesus, exhale the devil.
All right now.
Yeah.
And Tony.
I like that. I love that. Mhm.
Yes, I love that.
Creative. Very creative.
Yes, but
Yes.
we have learned over the years how to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
and we also learn over the years, oh, we can't change people, right?
Right,
Not
Yes.
at
It's not
all.
something anybody you take up in your life
right.
and feel so you're gonna try change them. You're down for a long
Forget it.
haul,
Can't do no
Mm-hmm.
and
tree.
they will
Yeah.
end up causing you more harm than you
Yeah,
you needed.
Yeah.
I've had true
You
experiences,
can't
yes.
change people. If
No.
you are friendly with people and you can take a good page, because who wants a bad page? You can take a good page out of a
Out of
person,
the book.
Yeah.
them book, but they always can take out a whole book leaf out of
Out
you.
of your book.
Yeah.
Why? Why
Leave
Yeah.
it
you
sounds so
with
familiar?
nothing. You might have to go buy a new book
So
because
like
it's
me did
whole
married
book
to
You
it.
know?
I mean,
gone. Then you
anyway.
at some point, we have to start to assess who is in my camp,
I
Right.
Mm-hmm.
right? Because people will drain each other.
Oh yeah.
Will drain each other. And I guess that's why, as you know, thank you, Ermin. Because Ermin, I say him still, my papa's still live in Prospect. But
Ah.
as I spoke about Papa's truck, because I like to um hold these kinds of relatable sessions where I can, mirror something to an experience. But like the people who, when they go to market, it is intentional and they mean it. If me one Samaria come over here, so because this a stall space vacant, me go tell her no come over here. Because it is likely me not go get no sale today. Right? So
mm-hmm.
sometimes when people take hard decisions and you see them behave a certain way, it's a survival mode as
Oh
well.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Self-preservation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to preserve yourself
Yeah.
because if
Yeah.
you don't, they'll always just dead
Mm-hmm.
and
Sucking the life out of
they're
you.
not
Or at
moving,
least trying.
not
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
you decide to move, that becomes a whole other thing. Them spirit can't take you now because you want to move on.
All of
Yeah.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember me used to go
Speak,
market with my
speak.
grandmother, and sleep on the market stall. And as a child, I saw a few things, but like Max says, sometimes you don't put it together until you get older. That's when you really understand what's going on. And like you talk about the two people who couldn't get together or can't get together on the market gate. And then the other lady, she started cursing at the market and flip up her frack tail behind her. And she exposed
Brawl.
herself to the woman and she take this
Yeah.
and go away. And that's why I don't like you. And
That
then
was
so,
that thing.
yes,
That was
we
that
never
thing.
know it was so interesting to me. Me sit down there as a little pick me and look and watch what go on, and the lady start to whine and go down the road because she
Mm-hmm.
flash her bottom, a flash her off, and her frack tail over her head.
Yeah.
She never care,
Right.
Yeah.
So that was like lady said, a defense mechanism, I guess.
That's what to
Well,
the
speaking
extreme.
of all of this, speaking of
Yeah.
market and stuff, as a child growing up, I used to see my grandmother, market women, they always have the bib. We all know the bib, right?
Yes.
Or the
Yes.
apron with the two pockets. We call it
Uh-huh.
bib. She used to call it bib
Bib.
back then.
Babe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
she always had a green lime in the pocket. What was the purpose of that? I
Hello.
never asked as a
I
child, but
I
I
I
noticed that.
was I
Sure,
was
let's
gonna
talk
say
about
that,
this before.
I was gonna say the green when all else fails. Some Mary Jane I come next to you, you know, say she salt. And she come salt you. And she no want to move. You
You have
take
to
out your
cut.
green lime,
You have to cut, man.
you
Mm,
squeeze it round your perimeter. You mark out your square so nothing can cross.
right?
She always, but she just keep it in the pocket with the money. I mean, I was wondering what she keep doing that.
A good luck charm.
And I never asked as a child,
One
and
rabbit
I
foot good
didn't
and
know.
all in there too.
Yeah.
I was supposed to
Whatever it
laughing
takes.
about something like this, though. It is serious, something them, our tradition. We don't
Yeah.
come from far.
Yes.
These people
Oh
brought, our
Lord.
ancestors brought these things with them, like these
Yeah.
beliefs and so on with them to the new world. A new world,
Yeah.
if you call over yourself, or to the
Yeah.
West.
Right.
you know?
I was
Well,
so
we're
like,
the new world.
you know, like
Yeah.
Columbus reached the Jackie.
The
So
line man is thing.
Janet, yes.
Listen, when I went to live over by Fordham Road, the apartment directly in front of me, this lady, she's from Guyana, and she was dating the man who owned the building. And when I came in one evening, she and guess what? All the people in business. The man's wife was living in the basement. They are
Oh Lord.
separated.
Oh.
So that's, say one rift are going on, and it's two
A
different
mix up.
islands. So it's two different beliefs. And therefore, because the wife was from another island and she was from another island, and there was a rift always going on. We didn't understand it until one evening I came in, and there was the front of the door was piled high with something white,
Oh.
and that's
Uh-uh.
right in front of my apartment. Every time I come, I had to be sweeping assault. The lady pour out must be 5 pound of salt at our doorway, and that salt no move. Then walk over it, then walk. So after a time you trample the salt, it becomes
Oh wow.
liquefied, and some of it
Sticky and messy, yeah.
spread, and some of the granules would spread and even come to my door. So I had to be sweeping and wiping and hope to the Lord that me not drag any of this disaster inside of my house.
Oh my.
Keep out. I'm walking in it, and sometimes may say it was something until that salt stayed there until the whole of the middle part press out, and then the little was banked up to the side of the door jam.
That's a message. Dear man, my spirit not take you. Me done with you.
That major.
Major.
Over you here, Janet. Here, Janet. Also, that you talked about the Limax. Janet says
Yes.
nutmeg too.
Nutmeg too. Yes.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I've seen that
Yeah.
too, yeah.
Yes, man. But my spirit not take you. Any day somebody said that, are you said it is for a reason. It's something that triggers. We get triggers in our lives.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can be a wonderful person, and somebody's triggered by how wonderful you are. And then
Yeah.
take you for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that too.
You can be
Yep.
triggered, right, by just something very simple as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be something that has escalated. And
Yes.
and you're just but what do you do? How do we manage that? I
But
think I
but
manage.
sometimes you're light in their darkness,
Mm-hmm.
You're light in their darkness, and they don't want you around. It's nothing you did in
True.
particular.
You're
That's
But
true.
I've been in situations where I am oblivious to what's going on, and something sinister was going on, unbeknownst to me, but because somebody that I know was also involved. And by me just coming around, it's like I look upon me like, well, and I'm like, what am I walking into? You feel like, say, is a landmine you're walking into, and you feel like you want back up and back out of the situation because you feel like you're
Right.
intruding. So you might be light going into them darkness, what them
yeah.
doing, and or them dishonesty or whatever the case may be. Because sometimes I remember back in the day when they had the pyramid. This was back in the 80s. Them had the pyramid scheme here. Remember the
Right.
pyramid
Yes,
scheme?
yes. Never been.
Yeah.
I
Pyramids
Never
is
went,
never
done
go
it.
girl,
away. Still
I went
around.
to a meeting and everything because somebody I knew that I was working with was involved in it, and we were leaving work back then. It was working after school, so I would come out of school and then I go to work. So I'm working till like 10, 11 o'clock p.m. And they had a meeting right after, and I'm traveling with her. So she said, "Oh, stop by. It's gonna be for such and such." But by me just walking it, because it was a dishonest and a rip-off,
Right.
Yes.
fraudulent scheme
Mm-hmm.
situation,
Yeah.
and just by me going in there totally innocent, don't know what's going on, and looking around and sniffing it out and saying, "No man, something not right here." So and then I was
Right.
looked upon as the intruder, because then
Yeah.
I
That's the
obviously
first
was.
part one gone. Yeah.
Right, but that was unbeknownst to me because I'm going with somebody who was in it, familiar with
Right.
it, and familiar to me, and brought me, and then here I was. So sometimes you don't really do anything, but by just being in the situation, get the look and the stares like for them to not take you none at all. But it's not you did. You just go on with the
Right.
little self, and that's what happened.
Right. Because I
Yeah.
recall that when I was younger, my aunties and uncle. But from one time when it first started, they said that you had to, all right, so you join it and then you have to take like three people with you. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Right.
how does that work?
It came back around during
And
COVID as a
some of those
flower.
things don't work after a while.
Well, pyramid scheme never goes away. It's always around.
No,
Yeah,
no,
It's
What you
no.
have to
always,
do
yeah,
is
I
to
think
come
detect
so.
back
Some
them.
of
as a
those
flower.
things may not
Yes.
cut
It
out
never
for.
goes away.
Some of those things may not cut out for. They come in different ways.
Yeah.
Some of
That's
those
true
things
too. Yes.
may not cut out for. So
Hmm.
yeah, it might work for a lot of people, and I'm not gonna downplay it, but I know
Right.
after I've seen what has happened to many people with it. Even when I came here, a friend of mine, we went up to the Trump Tower up in New Rochelle up there. So one big lavish something they had meeting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, when the presenters tell you, you feel like you can go own the world.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Big,
Yes.
my friend went in it. And after a while, it was not sustainable. Him couldn't get
Mm-hmm.
enough people, all kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
mm-hmm.
then can't
Yeah.
get the money.
It's
Yeah,
like
because
the real
because
Right.
estate
if
one
because
too.
if there's no product and there's no service, then of course it's gonna be a pyramid scheme. So it
Yeah.
can't work. They don't last. They
Mm-mm.
have to mash
Yeah.
up because I
Yeah.
know what you because I've been in
Like
stuff
Sharnette,
and I see where they go and they never last
Mm-mm.
like
because
Sharnette,
there's
I
no foundation
accompanied.
in them.
Right. Like Shani, I accompanied someone to one of those meetings. It's one of those real estate meetings where they teach you how to. They say that they're going to teach you how to acquire property
Mhm.
Yeah,
and
those are big now. Mm-hmm.
how to invest in these properties. And when you go there, the guy, it's like the one who was presenting, my spirit just never take him.
Mm.
Like
Mm.
the spirit just never take him, and
Yeah.
he was just speeding off. So in the room full of people, he was just speeding off,
Yeah, man.
chatting, just going on, just talking fast. And I said, how are people going to understand how to do this thing if
It's not go
he's
so
talking
far.
so fast?
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
somebody else asked him that said to him, you're going too fast for us to really. But he said that's a trick because
Retain
if you
anything.
speak
Yeah.
slowly, he didn't say a trick. If you speak slowly, people are not good. It's not going to stick. But you have to speak fast, and he doesn't want anybody to interrupt him and whatever. And then
Yes.
at the end,
So what will happen is that them have to go come to him afterwards
yeah,
because they never
And then
catch
it
and
him
then
up.
convince them.
and
And
then
then
Mhm.
it
he's going to
convince
tell
them.
them that they have to pay an additional $220 to come
Himself.
back the following day to
Mhm.
get that
Oh,
information.
you
Yeah.
see?
Quash
Look
the
at that.
psychology.
Yeah.
Quash the psychology.
Mm.
Well,
I
it's
say no.
27 minutes after 11. We're going to wrap up, but
Yeah.
I'm sure we had a good conversation. How you ladies felt about it?
Yes, I wasn't
It
sure
was
where we were
awesome.
going with this. I even said, how am I going to approach this one this morning?
Me too. Me
Mm.
too.
But
And it's funny that as the conversation went on, situations that I experienced came back to me, so I could have shared it here because I
Yeah.
yes.
told Lady D prior to us starting that I didn't have much on the topic. But
Mm.
You
it's
surprise
wonderful because
yourself.
everything just came out
Well,
as the
you surprise yourself.
conversation trod on. Yes, things that happened to me in the past came right back to mind, so I was
Oh,
able to share. So I really
But like I
enjoyed it.
said, I don't know about you guys, but for me it's like weekly I find somebody I can practically say, no, sir.
Right.
We not take that one day. At
Mm.
least this man and I had, well, almost had an altercation on Thursday morning because I was waiting to park and I'm sitting there in the aisle because there's cars on this side and I'm in the car and I'm saying, okay, who is gonna move? Who's gonna move? There was one young man in his vehicle, so I'm watching him for when he come out to get his spot. But then he ended up leaving the vehicle and going in a building. So I said, well, okay, forget about it. But I still sat there, and a man came and was parked behind me, and then maybe 10, 15 minutes, he moved and came in front of me. But he stayed in front of me so close. If you're looking at spot and you have a good length of distance, you have like a block long. You're there right in front of me. And in no time, the guy came back downstairs and headed back to his car. And right away, I sensed something about him. And I said something to write about this guy. Because just the mere fact that he just, came around and sat there and stuff. And I started watching him. And sure enough, the guy came, he went into his vehicle and was preparing to drive off. So then he now moved, he had to move. So he moved up slightly for the guy to get out. And as soon as the guy got out, I said, okay, I'm going to drive right up. So I didn't try to get going front way or back way. I just parallel right next to, because I said, I feel like he was going to come down and try to get this spot. And exactly that's what happened. Because he was sitting in his car, and when I'm behind people, if you're behind somebody, you can see them clearly in their rear view, in their mirror. And I saw the look on his face, and he had his arms folded, and he was scowling, and he's sitting there, and I said, okay, it's going to be me and you today, because I'm not moving.
Right.
So I put my car in park, and I fold my hands, so and I sat right there. And I give him a good look of 5 minutes, and I realized he's not moving. So I just they said, okay, fine, I'm not talking again. I took out my phone, take the picture in car, take the distance from my car, how he's up on my bumper, how he's impeding me from going in this spot, and then I called the cops.
Okay. Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
don't play with me. And when I called the cops and he realized, and they were dispatching an officer, he drove away.
Wonderful.
Because sometimes
You have to
when you
stand up
park
for
like that
yourself.
too, yeah, when you park like that too, sometimes you take the picture of this. If you feel threatening anyway, because if you come back and they key up your car and all of that, you have somewhere to begin. Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah. And I didn't know from a hole in the wall, but just by virtue of how he was operating, I said, no man, something sinister about this one right here. And true to form, him show him colors.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Sharon. You stood up for yourself. Thankfully,
Oh
there
yeah.
was no altercation, but but your spirit couldn't take him in that moment because he
Exactly.
was doing you wrong. So
Exactly.
Tony says, Tony says, yes, always a pleasure listening to you ladies on Saturday mornings. Thank you, Tony.
Thank
Yeah, Tony, you
you.
have a good day,
Lynn
hon.
says, wow, wow, yes, yes, Sharon, yes.
Oh, you mean?
Right.
Bright in bright.
Turn up to
So
your
at
right.
some point in time, yes, Miss Spirit will take you. We may
Lord of
vocalize
mercy.
it and we may keep it inside, or like Jackie and myself, who just managed to say, you know what, let's be diplomatic about it, and to say, hey, people will be people, we'll remain who we are.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
changes will come along and cause us to rethink how we do things. But at the end of it, we just want to know that we are good people and we're doing good things. So
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
it has been a great Saturday. What did Herman say here now? Very interesting program. Glad I was able to tune in. Ladies, please enjoy your weekend. My regards
All
to
right.
Same to
my
you,
regards
Ermin.
to Papa's Herman.
Okay, Herman.
So thanks to everyone for tuning in today. And you know what?
Be
We'll
safe,
come back.
Pharaoh.
We'll come back next week,
Yes.
God willing,
Yeah.
with more stories.
All right, my hominy porridge is waiting for me.
Oh,
All
okay.
right
Don't.
then.
Where may I go
I gotta
clean?
rub it in. My
May I
fruit
go
of my bowl of fruit is waiting for me.
Hi. Okay.
Oh,
Thank
Oops.
and Max, you still have strawberries?
No, I know me have to
She
buy
just
now. We don't have any,
planted.
but we transplanted them into the box. Well, at least
Oh,
one patch. We have another patch that we didn't transplant, and we can't do it now because it's too cold. We have to wait for it to warm up. Some maybe about
Oh,
March or so we'll do it,
Oh.
oh, okay.
Mhm.
or April. But the crop is over.
Okay.
So now we have
oh.
strawberry from the store.
Well, you had a good run. Me
Right.
did see you
Mm-hmm.
show off your produce.
Yes, me
Yeah,
there. Me thought me a eat glass strawberry.
Right.
Me tongue did I go loco, but me ain't get none. But I saw
have you
life
ever have
go.
you ever have you ever gone to a
Oh,
strawberry picking, a strawberry field?
No.
me?
Apple
I have
Listen,
picking
never
I'm not a
gone.
and
strawberry
peach and
person.
plum.
I only use
Listen,
strawberry and blend it in my
I
food.
wasn't until I went to a strawberry field not far from where my sister lives in North Carolina. And
Mm.
remember me tell her say, I saw them big and sweet and you just pick any amount that you want.
Mm.
And, you
And
know,
they're
and then
sweet.
the wait, I heard about it. They do it down here too, somewhere in Georgia. Two
Yeah.
places I heard. But I've never gone there because I'm afraid everything will move and run.
No, that's trouble if it's a
Lizard
fan.
might in the max.
No, listen, not
I
there.
can't really go in my own strawberry bed
Max, I don't
sometime.
think
Hey,
lizard in
Lady
there.
D, wrap up your program, please.
Well, guess what? If Lizard Dede Max, just carry him home, carry a bag, drop him in there. When you go,
That's true.
put your frying pan on, put some oil, and just fry.
Oh,
Me
Jesus.
like your advice. Oh, your advice is good, so.
Uh,
Well,
Oh,
thanks
Lord.
everyone for tuning in with us this morning. We wish you all a blessed day today and that the weekend will remain safe.
So,
And we love one, so we are may I come go up.
Me I can't go up to.
me I can go
Me I
down.
can't go in.
Me I go
Me I
down.
can't go in.
yeah, come go in.
Me I can't go in.
Lord,
All
You
right.
got to.
blessings, everybody. Mwah. We're
All
out.
right, one good.
All right.
For 2 days, the 5 o'clock hour is hot on Fit FM 96.7, www.fitfmja.com. Your life, your music with Lady D, Denise Gomez, Inside the Zone. Catch me on Monday at 5 p.m. for the Monday Drive, keeping you in the know in the city you walk, drive, and reside. And on Friday, yes, at 5 p.m. for Center Stage, the platform where voices are heard and people connect. From abroad to yard, Trelawney. Hi, I'm Lady D Denise Gomez, and I have exciting interview segments and features inside the zone. For recording artists, you can sing? Well, Inside the Zone, second Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. is for you. Writers, share your story, no man, in From the Author's Zone on third Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. Male Zone has unbelievably juicy stories of love, heartbreak, and triumph. 7 p.m. has never been this good. On Mondays, it's news, talk, engaging features at 7 in the Monday Drive. And Center Stage has everyone talking on Thursdays. Be a part of the show. Email me insidethezonelyc@gmail.com or call me 914-304-2592.